February 16th. The Forlorn Hope. I took 3 days to reach Holgard, and by then it lay in smoking ruin. The raiders had reached it before me. 3 days, and I had run most of the way. Weakness ran through me, and I laid my hand against the nearest boulder, my body hollow, my soul without purpose. What was I going to do now? My people. I looked over my shoulder, still able to pick out the smoke that rose from the devastation of my home. I looked toward Holgard, covered in a pall of smoke, the air tainted with death, and I leant toward the boulder, not caring that I might be silhouetted against the sky. I could see the country rolled out in all directions, the smoke from my homeland not the only column that rose, and emptiness rolled over me. Where did what? Shouts rang out from below, and I was tempted to just stand there and let them take me. But I hadn't run this far to allow it. I turned, leaving the trail to follow the ridge line. It was a beautiful day to die, the sky magnificent, the view without peer. The shouts faded, but the pursuit did not. When the air burned with every breath and my legs turned to lead, I turned, drawing a blade that dragged at my hand. I took it in a two-handed grip and prepared to fight until I fell. The arrow came out of nowhere, flying past my ear and into the empty sky beyond. Give it up, Traflander. Traflander? I was not. Watch your mouth, scumcloss. The archer slid out from behind the cover of an outcrop of rocks, bow at half nock. What did you call me? You heard it, divot bag. Divot bag? To my surprise, he sounded more amused than insulted. You've got a mouth on you. Why don't you put yours where your money is? I advanced a step, and he raised the bow. The sudden rush of footsteps behind me was another surprise I didn't need, and I turned, just in time to have my blade knocked to one side. I was seized just as fast and slammed into the ground. You're not a Traflander! I coughed, pulling air back into my lungs and trying to focus on the face above me. Couldn't help but try and sass them one last time. A swift death was better than being tortured. Yeah, but you're still a scum-sucking, divot-bulging, bag-ass scumcloss. And the look on his face made me laugh, even as I tried to breathe. Dragons' asses, but I was tired. Pretty soon I was looking up at two of them, and neither of them were happy with me. Didn't matter. I closed my eyes and waited for the blade. Did not expect to be lifted up and slung over a broad shoulder. Hey! But they ignored me, moving swiftly over the crest and down into the valley beyond, and taking my blade with them. I really wanted to argue, but I was just too exhausted. I'd fought my way free and run most of the night to warn Holgard, and then I'd run again. I'd failed, and my people were gone. What did it matter where they took me? It mattered a lot, as it turned out. Not all my people were gone. Others had escaped the lightning swift attacks, including from Holgard, which had been struck at the same time as my hometown. There never had been any hope of assistance from it. I had not failed. I just had no chance of succeeding. We're regrouping here, the swordsman was saying when I woke up enough to join the group by the fire. It looks like we'll have a long, hard fight, and some of us are going to need sanctuary in Afterclona. So they've won then. The archer sounded like the world had fallen down around him. The swordsman gave him a slightly angry look. For the moment, he said, but we have some hope. Afterclona stands with us, and their borders are holding. The archer's lip curled. They say Afterclona has allied with the dragons. The swordsman smiled, his outline wavering, growing larger as his copper-coloured hair turned to copper-coloured scales. Those nearest stumbled backward, their hands going to the hilts of their swords. As a dragon, he surveyed them, and then he melted back to human form and regarded the archer with amusement. You say that like it's a bad thing, he said. Are you sure you hate us that much? And the archer stared, dumbfounded. The rest of those gathered at the fire looked at him and waited, but I had no doubts, and I owed the stupid, divot-bulging scumcloss nothing. I walked unsteadily through those closest to the swordsman and looked up at him. Vengeance? I asked. and he gave me a startled glance, his face softening to compassion. How about a new beginning?